Hello, and welcome to the demo day of the first edition of SkillUp Compete, the competition that's built in partnership with the Entrepreneurial Nation and UAE's Ministry of Economy. We at MIT Enterprise Forum Pan-Arab are beyond thrilled to witness the culmination of the inaugural edition of SkillUp Compete. This year, we received over 380 applications from all over the UAE, all looking to develop an entrepreneurial mindset, come up with their next business idea, or improve their businesses. Through this competition, students, aspiring entrepreneurs, and innovators have all benefited from world-class training, networking opportunities, and other incentive packages. Today, 9 finalist teams will pitch to our panel of judges. But before we meet today's finalists, please join me in welcoming His Excellency Dr. Ahmed Belhoul Al-Falasi, Minister of State for Entrepreneurship and SMEs, for an inspirational message to our future entrepreneurs.
Good afternoon. I'm very happy to be with you here today. I've been lucky enough to be part of this whole wonderful journey, from the ideation with the team to the reaching out and to the competition itself. I've seen firsthand all of your enthusiasm and excitement when it came to pitching your ideas. I'm happy to say that all of you are winners in my eyes. All of you have the drive and the passion that every entrepreneur needs. But at the end of the day, we unfortunately have to pick a few. This is a competition at the end of the day. But I think at the end, all of you are winners. And this competition, specifically from my perspective, being the Minister of Higher Education in a previous role, this really is heartwarming to see the level of excitement that students today have in terms of pursuing an entrepreneurial career. Because at the end of the day, to have that much passion, I think personally, investing it in your own venture is far more rewarding than pursuing, a job. And again, I think with all of you on board today and seeing this level of excitement, I think we'll have much more inspiration for other generations to come and future students who will enroll as well in this program. So again, I wish you all the best. Very happy to be part of this program. And I'm sure all of you will succeed in your own way.
Let's meet the 9 finalist teams as they pitch to our esteemed panel of judges.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a credit card. Every week, I eat this. You heard me. I eat a credit card every week. But so do you and your children and your friends and family. How is that possible? The answer? Microplastics. Plastic waste in the ocean breaks down into smaller pieces, washes up on beaches, and enters our body through our food and water. It leads to cancer, costs the world trillions of dollars, and kills millions of people and sea creatures annually. Worst of all, there's no solution for this problem. That's where we come in. Hi, my name is Hyunbei. I'm the CEO of 5MM. We are developing the world's first microplastic retrieval drone that drives around beaches and collects microplastics. It is unmanned, solar-powered, and can be deployed worldwide. We target a 90% waste retrieval efficiency, removing around 2 tons of plastic per hour for 22 hours per charge, which is over 200 times faster than manpower, which is the most common method microplastics are removed. This is the market size for our solution. The TAM is $3.7 trillion, which is the money lost worldwide due to marine microplastic pollution. The SAM is $756 million, which is how much it costs the Middle East. And our first 12 months revenue with 10 drones operating at a conservative capacity, we target $178,000. To achieve this goal, we use a fixed pricing model based on the weight of plastic we retrieve. The UN estimates that a metric ton of marine plastic reduces $33,000 of economic value, but we only charge $8,000 per ton of plastic collected. This means every dollar governments spend on our solution, it returns 312% in GDP. Our product is unique without any direct competitors, but there are other ways to remove microplastics, such as manual labor, which is ineffective and slow. However, we excel in both efficiency and cost. Our marketing strategy targets clients like the Environment Agency Abu Dhabi, whom we have already begun conversations with. We will reach out to clients overseas through local embassies and email, and we will network to reach clients at events like the Expo, which we have been invited to this year. We are highly motivated and committed to our cause with a diverse set of experiences to get the job done. Our advisors have a combined 30 years of experience. Dr. Said is our startup coach and is a marketing professor. Dr. Davis is the most experienced engineer in our university, and he oversees our drone prototyping. As you can see, we have already begun R&D and targeted an operational prototype by June and to operate in 5 countries by June 2023. Our vision is to utterly eradicate coastal microplastics and therefore save millions of lives and boost ocean-dependent economies. We will achieve this by removing microplastics for beach municipalities at revolutionary efficiency. We are currently raising $200,000 for R&D and production of the first 10 drones. And we are also asking for introductions to municipalities tasked with protecting the coast. Ladies and gentlemen, help us help our world. Thank you.
Thanks, Hyunbae, for the presentation, and you're obviously solving a very big problem. Can you tell us, have you already got a prototype developed and have you tested it out? And tell us a little bit more about the technology behind it as well, please.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Yeah, we get that question a lot since we are a robotics-focused startup. We are currently looking into scientific literature existing about microplastics and the most efficient way to collect it. We have not begun prototyping the drone due to COVID regulations, but we expect to start testing our MVP on the field as soon as we get our DMT approval in April this year. And we plan to have a perfected prototype by June, hopefully. And the technology behind this, essentially, we are very confident in the ability of not only the faculty and researchers at our university, NYU Abu Dhabi, but as well as the wider NYU network. And essentially, we're putting together various technologies from different devices that already exist. For example, we're using a 46 by 80 Tesla battery, which is the most efficient one. And there are drones that can navigate the beach. There are drones that can collect large pieces of plastics, but we're essentially just putting together the technology. And the filtering is relatively simple. There's a research team at our university who's focusing on microplastic retrieval, and they're working with different liquids that separates sand from microplastics. So we're going to collaborate with them. And we have other technologies like filtering wire mesh that can drain down the sand and collect larger pieces of plastic.
Thank you.
So I'd like to jump in. First of all, congratulations on a very well articulated need gap and a great presentation. I'm curious to hear about how you came up with this need gap and identified it as a key issue.
Absolutely. So I consider myself an environmentalist. I do a lot of philanthropy stuff in tree planting and beach cleanups, but then I started doing my research on how I can have a productive summer, because it was the summer before my freshman year at university. I'm currently a freshman, and I was researching sort of local initiatives I can get involved with, and then I heard about microplastics from a NGO in UK, and then I just begun to look at more research. I began talking to my professors about it and realized there isn't a solution, and this problem is a pretty big one. So that's how I got into that field.
Great, thank you.
So I'll just jump in here. I think, again, congratulations on the presentation, to the point. I like the concept. I'm actually surprised that you're a freshman, which is also goes a long way to say about how proactive you are in understanding the problem and being able to present it concisely. I think one of the challenges I foresee right now, I know globally countries have pledged net zero carbon within different timeframes, but I think the monetization of this, I know you've assessed the GDP impact and you put your cost against it. My challenge here, if you're going to deploy it in the UAE, are these entities willing to pay that money up front? Has that been agreed upon? I know some of them tend to like to fund research, but do you have potential commitment or understanding of any other entities that went down that route and are being paid to do such businesses?
Absolutely. So recently I talked to Mr. Wilson from the Environment Agency Abu Dhabi, and he agreed that, like to your point, there is a lack of scientific research right now assessing the impact of microplastics. We do know that it leads to several health problems like autism and cancer. However, that hasn't been well documented yet because science is still new. This is a relatively new concept, and but we believe as science catches up, governments will be more convinced that this is an issue we have to tackle, kind of like macroplastics, plastic bottles in the ocean, things like that. And we are beginning to reach out to nations in Europe, which are a little more focused on getting rid of plastic and so on. We do know that governments spend a lot of money trying to remove macroplastics, and we do know that microplastics have an impact on the environment based on studies. So we believe that if we demonstrate how we can fit the gap and provide the needs of the government and boost, the economy, healthcare, and so on, we believe that our product will satisfy a need. Thank you.
Just a quick follow-up question. What will you do with all the microplastics that you collect?
That's an excellent question. We have begun small partnerships with local organizations and NGOs. For example, there's an NGO in UK called Nerdle. What they do is they create artworks out of these microplastics, and we know that there's a NGO in the US. It's called the Ocean Cleanup. They make sunglasses. Obviously, not all retrieved microplastics can be recycled, and creating a new product out of old plastic is more of a statement, and it just shows that we ought to be more careful of the environment, but we are going to partner with local municipalities and dispose the waste how they usually do it.
Good morning, honorable judges. I would like to tell you a story about my friend Ali. Ali received a pair of headphones as a precious gift from his mom, but unfortunately, by accident, a part of the headphones broke. He couldn't think of a way to fix this broken part to save his mother's gift. But what if there was a way to get this custom part that Ali needs? Luckily, with 3D printing, you can do this and more. Ali is not alone. According to Deloitte research, more than 50% of customers are willing to buy customized products and services. So let's learn how Azure 3DP will help.
Introducing Azure 3DP, a marketplace specialized for 3D printing where people can create, share, and make functional prints that they use every day. Customers can request their own custom designs from our designers network, or search for unavailable designs from thousands of available models where AI is used to help find a better match. Once a model is selected, customers can print the model through any of our available printer operators, and it will be seamlessly delivered to their doorstep. So what makes us different than our competitors? According to our primary market research, our targeted group has two top priorities, which are affordability and convenience, and we tend to perform better in these two categories. Why is that? Our patent-pending system design and unique business model work to minimize the cost associated through complete automation of the processes involved, and with the use of intelligent automation and AI technologies. To ensure our financial sustainability, we have developed multiple revenue streams, which include commissions on each sale, advertisements, our own sales, and premium services and surge pricing. However, what really differentiates us from others is our commitment to being customer-centered while adhering to the sustainability principles. Also, our potential to develop exclusive government partnerships to accelerate Dubai 3D printing strategies. So what have we done so far?
We started in January last year as a side hustle, and our total revenue was around 11,000 dirhams. Additionally, we grew a community of customers and users who are ready to join our platform once it's launched. The platform is planned to launch in June of this year, targeting university city students in Sharjah as our beachhead market. Since the UAE has a vision of becoming the 3D printing hub of the world, the total addressable market is expected to grow from an already impressive 2.8 billion dirhams. By 2024, we will start Azure 3DP Academy, which aims to popularize 3D printing and grow our community even further. And by 2026, we plan to enter the B2B market for more growth, which will help us in our vision to become the most used 3D printing platform in the MENA region by 2032.
Our team consists of ambitious, hardworking members that come from different engineering backgrounds and finance that perfectly complement each other. So, are you ready to join us in creating, sustaining, and innovating a better future? Thank you for listening.
So just a quick question on the acquisition side of the platform. can you tell us a little bit about how you're planning on acquiring customers for the platform? I guess it's quite clear how you're going to onboard vendors, but if you can just take us through a little bit on the strategy for acquiring customers for your platform. Thank you.
Sure. So I'll start with that. So our marketing or go-to-market strategy, we are targeting university students specifically in the Sharjah University City. The reason we chose this market as our beachhead market because they are easy to access and we are familiar with their requirements, and it allows us to expand to other markets. So we plan to launch campaigns on campuses, like showcasing our products and showcasing our platform by visiting their campuses, and maybe university ambassadors programs, as well as the usual digital marketing through social media.
Yes,
Sharif, would you like to add anything?
Yes, sure. Also, as we would like to add marketing from micro-influencers, like to market our platform through social media. It goes under the social media part. Also, we are planning to do university ambassadors programs, so that especially at the beginning in the University City of Sharjah, as Mohammed said, that it is easy for us to access. So this is our plan at the beginning.
And if I might add, based on our primary market research, we already have a good number of people who are willing to join our platform. So that's good news.
So if I may, thank you for the presentation. I think one of the things that I found a bit missing in the presentation was there are claims on competitive advantage, but I did not see the figures, right? And maybe secondly, what's your cost structure and your margin? Do you think it's sustainable or not? Because at one point you're talking about a captive customer base of students, which, by the way, that's a transient population that keeps changing every 4 years. And then again, what stops a student from ordering this from overseas at a lower rate and then shipping it here? Have you seen? Because 3D printing is becoming a commodity right now. I'm yet to see the competitive advantage here. The only thing I could see is probably the captive market, but I'm not sure if that's sufficient enough for you to grow. And you mentioned B2B as well. And maybe the last point, I'm not too technical on this, is you said in the first example, somebody broke a piece of his headset and you're going to replace that. Does that require specific IP or specific, specification from the supplier, and how are you able to do that? Or you'd have to program and do each one individually, or is it just a database that you can download?
Yes,
so
I would like to start by the last question regarding the headphones part. The specification, as we mentioned on the platform, on the slides, that in the platform, the user will be able to either order from an available model or order a specific part for them. So they will be able to contact the designer and tell them the exact specification, or at least if they cannot tell, they can tell the designer, and he or she will ask them for the requirements to get exactly what he or she needs to design this. So there will be a communication between the designer and the customer in order to get this exact specification to design this custom part.
Yeah, and also, regarding the financials, as you can see on the screen, we have the LTV, or the lifetime value of our customers, and the cost of customer acquisition. And we did these calculations based on our existing orders from our customers in the past year. And we can see that the cost of customer acquisition is 3 times lower, at least 3 times lower than the lifetime value. And we plan to increase the lifetime value of the customers. And we have pretty healthy margins. You might not be familiar with this, but actually 3D printing is really an expensive way to produce compared to traditional manufacturing techniques. And that allows us to have very healthy margins. But regarding your point about what stops students from ordering something that's online, the fact that they can't use it, they can't find it online, and the fact that it will cost much more in shipping than in ordering the part itself, which is what we are trying to minimize here in our unique business model.
So I'd like to jump in. Congratulations, Sharif and Mohammed. Thank you for this. I want to build on the question around competitive advantage as well. You mentioned affordability and convenience through patent pending. It sounds to me that this is really an execution game as opposed to an innovation differentiation game. So talk to me a little bit about that. Do you believe you have an innovative technology that is patent pending? And if you do, what exactly is that? And if not, what's your execution that's going to differentiate you and create unfair advantages?
Thank you for the question. Yes, regarding the innovation or the patent pending, we have used technologies that are not used in any other 3D printing platform or 3D printing industry. So that actually allows us to file a patent. And these technologies involve complete automation for the processes involved from the start to the end. Okay, and that's the point where we innovate. It's in the system design. This is the patent for the system design. And here are some of the algorithms that we used in intelligent automation and AI. I myself, I'm taking graduate courses in intelligent automation and intelligent systems. So this is based on specific experience and know-hows that I don't think many in the market that will be able to do it. And we did not yet receive the patent, but it's still pending. So I'm not sure if we will be able to secure the patent. Regardless of that, we are, like you mentioned, the execution. The fact that we are more affordable and more convenient to users, I think that alone gives us a huge competitive advantage. So, Sharif, would you like to add anything on that?
Yes, as Muhammad mentioned, that regarding the competitive advantage, other 3D printing businesses, especially here in the UAE, we have done our primary and secondary market research. What really differentiates us is the platform idea, the system used, everything in that. So there is no such platform in the UAE or even in the world about the 3D printing business or industry. Also, the idea itself, the platform, how the user will interact with the platform and how they will order, exactly, the community itself, and increasing the awareness of 3D printing. This is the ultimate goal of us.
Yeah. So if I might add, our vision is to become the leading popularizers of 3D printing. We want to accelerate the adoption of this technology. And maybe for business, you have to be profitable. So we find a way to combine both ways.
Yeah. So not only getting the money or the profit, we also want to increase the awareness about 3D printing, and especially here in the UAE, they want to be the 3D printing hub of the world. So this will ease our work.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Akshat, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Blind. Now, through my time at college, I realized that meeting new people and making new friends is hard. We usually hang out with the same people and the same friend circle, and there's no direct way to expand it and also meet new people. Also, making friends in the first place is hard. At times during my first year, I felt lonely, and it took a negative toll on my mental health. I researched and realized that this problem is way bigger, and more than 66% of college students feel lonely, emphasizing a gap in how people make new friends, only increased by the pandemic. Many people try apps like Tinder and Bumble, but they're superficial and you swipe left or right on people in seconds, judging them on their appearance and ignoring their personality. That is why we created Blind. Blind is a social life app that helps users meet new people outside their friend circle, make new friends, and make meaningful relationships, both in a more exciting and meaningful way through blind matching. Now, this is how our app works. Basically, users get matched with another user around campus based on similar interests and personality, but they don't see each other's names or photo. After talking for 48 hours, if they feel like there is a connection, they would get two options. They can either reveal and see each other's names and face and continue talking, or they can pass and get matched with someone new. So this way, we give the control of social life to our users, as they can now talk to new people and make new friends. The users have deeper conversations during the 48 hours because they are anonymous, leading to better friendships, and overall creating a good mental health full of supportive friends and partners. Our business model consists of two major revenue streams. Firstly, subscriptions where users pay a monthly fee to get access to more features. Secondly, ads. We plan to expand Blind like Facebook did. We'll first spread the campus on our college campus and NYU Abu Dhabi, and then gradually grow through word of mouth and campus ambassador programs to other universities in the UAE. We also plan on partnering with student clubs and host different events, and then plan on expanding globally. We have multiple competitive advantages, as we are the first app to implement this innovative blind matching for helping people make new friends and find relationships. No other app on the market does this. It's more meaningful and exciting as compared to endless swiping on the major apps on the market. And also, exclusive partnerships with universities would help us become more community driven. So far, we've achieved some milestones. We've conducted research and launched our app promo to our university group and got more than 270 signups for our waitlist in hours, showing early proof of market fit. And we're on track to launching our MVP. Let us know if you want to look at our app promo. This is our team, and we're excited to hear your questions. Thank you.
So thank you so much, actually, for the presentation. I apologize in advance, there's some construction going on, so if it comes up, I'll have to mute myself. I think just reflecting on this, you're addressing a gap in our local market. I think with the cultural barriers, with people being more introvert, I think this is a good way to go about it. I would have liked for this to have an option where it would at least be a blurred image or something, because last thing you need is for someone to spend so much time and invest only to find that physically is completely off. You see my point? But that's just a personal choice from me. I think just if you remind me again, what's your revenue model? You mentioned marketing, but what's your primary source of revenue? And how do you think you scale up beyond your current user base?
Yeah, so our revenue model is divided into two major parts. The major part is subscriptions. So we plan on releasing Tinder Plus. So there's Tinder Plus and Blind Plus. We plan on releasing a subscription service called Blind Plus, where we would give people more matches. So for example, we would initially match users with 2 new friends every week. But if they purchase our plan for say 20 dirhams a month, they would get 4 friend matches every single week. Other than that, they would also get access to not only matching with students from their university, but students from other universities in the region as well, which free users won't get the access to. And they would also get they can also get the option to reveal or pass into 24 hours instead of 48 hours. So all of these features would be for people who pay for the subscription. And we also have another model for people who a lot of students travel throughout their time at university. And when you're traveling, you also want to meet new people. So we have another subscription program called Blind Travel, where we match them with up to 10 people in a matter of hours so that they can meet new people while they're traveling in the new, and they can make more local friends, because that's the great way to explore a country. And in terms of marketing, we're also planning on partnering. So for example, if I match with a friend who both of us have common interests of listening to podcasts, we would be specifically showing them ads related to podcasts. So these would be more relevant advertisements, and the companies who we would be partnering with, they would be able to showcase their products to people who are interested in their products, therefore getting a better yield rate.
Yeah, a quick question from me is, so I'm just trying to understand this app. It's limited to certain locations, right, or geographies. So for example, and as an NYU student, I would only see the NYU community, right? Or can I also see?
If you're on the free plan, then yes. But how we plan to expand is, if you buy the subscription, then you would be able to match with people from other universities in the city as well. Okay.
And let's assume on the free subscription, an NYU student getting to know other NYU students. Why is it blind? Because you've already told me you're within my community. I can understand blind if it's people that are completely random, that are not within the university. But what's the harm in revealing the name or because chances are, if you and I are talking for 24 hours, at some point I'll tell you I'm studying this, or I'm in this college, you pretty much will be able to figure out who we are. So why is it, what's the idea behind keeping it blind for 24 to 48 hours?
That is a great question. So we did this during our user research. And so the fact that NYU in itself, NYU Abu Dhabi, has over 2,000 students. And one of the reasons that we want to keep people anonymous is that they can easily get to know the person like without the biases of looking at their appearance. So there are a lot of biases when we look at people. And also, if you don't see a face, then, after talking to people, we realize that if there is anonymity, they would be able to like jump to deeper questions more quickly as compared to just like revolving around small talk. We like the weather and what do you study? But instead, if there is like an anonymous element to it, then they would be able to like get to deeper interests, like what interests you in more ways. How would you like to like spend your time, and like more deeper questions. And we've actually included a feature on our app called the Q button. So when right next to your chat, if you press the Q buttons, we've included a lot of deep, meaningful questions like, where would you want to spend your life? What is your dreams? Like questions that actually help you get to know people better. So we've included that as well. So the more point is that if you like the person, you reveal. If you don't like, you pass without any guilt of knowing them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So for me, what was unclear is what success looks like. Is this an acquisition play where you're looking for a potential heavy acquisition and then being acquired by a big player, or is this a tech play? And if it is a tech play, then what I was unclear about are the AI, the algorithms, the tech unfair advantages that you have built or that you can build that can set you apart from the bigger players out there. Because again, a proposition like this is not a manual proposition. It's a proposition that's based on technology really taking over and creating these unfair advantages that allow you to acquire and build success metrics. And I haven't seen that in your presentation. And it's something to think about as you begin to develop it out. What are you developing that's going to create a standing for you that sets you apart?
That is a great question, Mora. So the play that we're looking at is technology play. We're not looking to get acquired, because our success metric, like our end goal, is to be the app that people go to for everything related to their social life. If they want to make friends, if they want to find love, if they want to find new experiences, they go to Blind for literally everything. That's what we're looking at. So how we're planning to achieve that and build more unfair advantages towards our own side is we've done our research, and we've talked to different psychology related people who have helped us frame our questions in a way which helps our algorithm work very efficiently. So all the questions, we weren't able to include those in the 3-minute, but I can, we have our app promo ready. We have our app videos ready. If I could share my screen for like 20 seconds, I would be able to show them to you. Give me one second. They're right here. So this is how our app looks. And initially when people sign up, they can choose their interests. Once they select it, they'll be matched to people. They'll see their common interests. Once they chat, within 48, after 48 hours, they can pass or reveal. So this is specifically for friends. And we've built a different mode for love, where they answer more deep questions, like you can see. So, and they'll see more information about love. So there are 2 different modes so that people make it clear how they want to use the app. And this is the conversation starters. So all of this, we've built it in a way that this actually helps people match with people who they can vibe with and who they can connect to in a way. And that's what we think is at the core of our algorithm. And that's what sets us apart in a way. And other than that, our business model would be able to help us sustain well. And also we genuinely think that there is this gap which we would be able to address, which no other apps on the market are addressing, which is to make new friends in a more meaningful way rather than swiping left or right.
Good morning. My name is Ayub Lia, and I thank you for this opportunity. We have all experienced the loss of loved ones to cancer. It's a devastating feeling I share with my team members and with you all. In the past decade, we've lost more than 1% of the human population to cancer. And that is because cancer is a complex disease. It's a shapeshifter. Discovering a drug for it or bringing a new one to market typically costs around $2 billion. And it takes an average of 14 years of research, which are split into 3 stages. First is drug discovery, where the hypothesis is tested. Second is preclinical testing, where testing is performed on cells that we grow in the lab, and then on animals. And in stage 3, we then test on humans. In stage 2, the 2D grown cells are not perfect model to mimic the human body as a whole, whereas animal testing is cruel and comes with lengthy approval procedures. Our aim in Celtiro is to redefine preclinical testing by providing robust testing models with reduced cost and execution time, with a vision to eliminate animal testing. We are the first to grow cancer tumors on paper and preserve them for biological tests and drug screening. They are far better than 2D grown cells in representing cancer tumors, and we foresee them substituting animal testing in the future. An important aspect of our innovation is that we replace the cell storage tubes with paper that is 5,000 times smaller in volume, cutting down the cost of cell banking by $45 million annually. Our technology targets 3 global markets: pharmaceutical lab testing, cell banking, and 3D cell models. Together, those markets have a value of $60 billion. The serviceable available market is 40% of that, which is around $24 billion. And our segment is expected to reach $7 million within the first 4 years of operation. We outperform our competition in sustainable storage, logistics, but most importantly, we are the only ones that preserve and provide 3D tumor-like models. Our business model relies on 3 revenue streams: direct sale of our products, services where we offer to perform biological tests on behalf of our customers, and in the future, we can license our IP to cell banks to manage their stocks better. We are a multidisciplinary team of scientists, engineers, and biotechnologists, 2 PhDs, and a cumulative of 30+ years experience in life sciences. Our startup is at early stages of development. We have a working prototype tested in a lab environment. Our technology is patented. Our scientific findings are published in several prestigious journals and many other media outlets. We were recently approached by billion-dollar companies such as Celtiro. What drives us is hope. And when life asks, we look for answers. Thank you for listening.
First of all, thank you for the presentation. I should admit upfront, I don't have a life sciences background, so some of these questions are just going to be very basic. But you talked about eliminating animal testing. I'm trying to understand the link between your solution and eliminating animal testing.
Okay, so we are trying by providing tumor models to eliminate animal testing. It's not happening now, as of now, but this is our vision. This is the vision that we have for the future. Why tumor models? The reason why we do animal testing, because the normal 2D grown cells, they are individual cells, and they do not mimic the organ as a complex 3D structure. So it does not mimic the metabolic activity of that organ very well. That's why we use animal testing. So what we aim with this 3D grown structures is to create that environment for testing and to be able in the future to eliminate animal testing.
So you're not there yet? Do you know how long it'll take you to get to that point?
It's our vision.
Okay.
We have to prove it. Yeah, so we have to prove that these tumor-like models represent the human body better than the animal testing. And the thing is this: it is we see it to be more representative because, for example, when you have a cancer patient, cancer is the way it is. It's very heterogeneous. We usually, the cancer patient might have hundreds of cancers within him. They're very heterogeneous. So having little samples from a specific cancer patient and growing them into tumor models would be more representative of the sickness of that patient than testing on animals, for example. So this is
and this hasn't been done anywhere else?
We are the first ones to grow tumor-like models on paper, and we are the first ones that will be able to scale it up to a level that it could be used for testing.
Thank you.
So I have a question. Excellent presentation. Thank you very much. It feels almost, just by listening to you, almost too good to be true. So my very basic question is, why wasn't this thought about before and done before, with all the billions of dollars spent on tumor-like models before? So how are you today the creator of this fantastic concept, seemingly?
Well, I would like to answer that, first of all, by telling you the story of this product. So this is a problem that we were facing in our lab. We were storing cells, and maintaining them is very expensive. So cells are stored in minus 196 degrees, and they're stored in tubes. And sometimes storing them in tubes, it takes a lot of space, and you need to spend a lot of money on it. But those companies, those well-established cell banks that are out there, they have a system that is working. And sometimes it's difficult to change the way of doing things when you are very comfortable at doing it. And our being uncomfortable doing what we were doing is what drives us to come into preserving cells in paper. I don't know if this is enough of an answer.
Hey, Ayub, thank you for presenting and talking to us and, you know, articulating this to us. Maybe if you can tell us a little bit about yourself and the rest of your team, that would be helpful.
Sure. I am the CEO of Celtiro, and I have a background in engineering and applied sciences. And recently I've received my PhD in biotechnology and bioengineering, and my work mostly in this past 4 years in New York University was in developing diagnostic tools for prostate cancer, aside from this project. Pavitra Sukumar is our biologist. She has 15 years plus experience in the field, and she is responsible for the quality assurance of our product. Iman is our bioengineer, and her experience is important in bridging between industry and academic research. And Mohammed Kasaima is our advisor, our founder, our chair of board of members.
Maybe if I may, just one last question. Again, thank you for the presentation. Again, full disclosure, I'm not a life science expert. But one question I have is also linked to Mina's question about the level of innovation in a highly funded industry, specifically when we talk about cancer. You know, there's a lot of philanthropy, money that goes into it, governments as well, private sector. Let's assume that this is a groundbreaking solution when it comes to storage, as you mentioned. Why are you thinking of going operation as opposed to just completely just licensing it out to the big players? And second question to that is, where have you registered the patent? What protection do you have? Is it only US patent? Is it other geographies as well? If I would focus on securing the patents in all markets and then think about operationalizing it and getting funding.
So thank you. Thank you for the question. I'm not quite sure I heard all of it, but for the I will start by the last one. For the patent, it is published. I have shared a link for it. We filed it, I think, in 2018, and we are planning to file several other patents around this one, and even new ones to maintain, because I think, as I agree with you, these kind of patents they generate a lot of income for companies in the biotechnology field, and they help in the continuity of such businesses as well. For the first question, I'm not quite sure.
The business model. So haven't you thought about just completely licensing the IP as opposed to creating the company and conduct? Because if I understand you correctly, you want to provide the service as well. You're not only just licensing, right? So you want to be in the industry. My question is, why haven't you thought only about licensing and at least getting some response from some of the big players? Are they interested or not?
Well, thank you. do we know that in the MENA region in the UAE, there are no cell banks? Cell banks are available only in the Americas, in Europe. We thought about creating something that will be leading from this region. And this market is open to us. As researchers, we faced a lot of problems just for the fact that these cell banks are in the Americas or in Europe. Receiving samples is hectic. It takes months and months to receive samples and biological assays. So being here and being, it's a very motivating. There are a lot of aspects that could motivate us to start our company as for cell banking and also for testing, drug testing in this region, in the UAE as first and the MENA region.
Hello everyone, my name is Shaman bin Hamad. I am the CEO and founder of Cyberhero, information security for education. The main reason behind data and security breach is human error, responsible of 90% of such incidents. Also, UAE have been observed 50% increase in the cyber attacks within a year during the pandemic. And the common victim are children, more than 50% because of social media and online games. So basically, Cyberhero is an awareness and educational platform to help the society in the UAE to avoid the cyber attacks issues. And we are providing innovative solutions, which are e-learning and information security awareness sessions. And we adapted a new technique, which is gamification, information security awareness gamification for children in early stage to enhance the cybersecurity capabilities in them. So basically, the competitive advantage, we have solutions designed specifically for our UAE market, as we are first cybersecurity gamification awareness company in UAE, and we are focusing on teaching the students plus parents, as they need awareness also because of the lack of awareness campaigns. So basically, the annual growth of cyber attacks in UAE, it's around the Middle East, it's 40%. Within 5 years, and there are a big opportunity in the market, which will going to help us to spread the cybersecurity awareness in different campaigns and with different organizations, as the cyber attacks are increasing day by day. So the market size, we have more than 600 public schools in UAE and more than 500 private schools, which means we have 1.1 million students in UAE. So basically, we're gonna focus on 30% of those schools for the next 3 years to provide for them the cyber awareness solutions. And we have 2 revenue streams. We have subscription and customized services. We are focusing on the subscription, which will be our profit we're gonna gain it from. We have information security gamification and the e-learning. And for the customized services, the sessions which will not include in our list or in our catalog. And we have the customized games that we're gonna develop in general regarding the cyberspace. So e-learning is a platform. We have already developed 2 cybersecurity awareness on-demand courses, which includes different topics, and each course includes 5 different modules, and each module will have quizzes, and at the end of the course there will be a final quiz, and this could be included and integrated in the educational institution system. Plus, it could be provided for the employees as an awareness campaigns for them, which can maybe affect on the evaluation for them to raise the cybersecurity awareness, as it's a condition of ISO 27001. So initial market adoption, we already have been attended different events, and we have some partnerships already. And the social media, we have participated in GITEX for 2 years and for JISEC also, and we have been awarded with different competitions and programs. And this is our media and press, which we are there. We already started from 2 years almost. And
10 seconds.
Okay, the fund allocation, we are focusing on the platform development and for the marketing. And the expected revenue is by 2030, we are focusing on having 1,500 activate users. So this is me and my colleague, and our status, we have already trade license. The website is under developing. We already provided workshops and sessions. And thank you.
مرحبا شمة. طبعا full disclosure, I'm biased. I'm the chancellor of HCT and Shemma is a student or alumni of HCT. But Shemma, the question I had is, what is your competitive advantage? You talked about the content. Do you own that content or you just curate this content? And secondly, what stops these different entities from using the big players like McAfee, Norton, Campus Sky to offer these services? Do you go on the ground and do one-on-one teaching to students? So this was my question. And then maybe the last point is, are you collecting your revenue from government who are willing to sponsor this for you to have an outreach program, or you sell it? Is it B2G to government, or is it B2B or a B2C? That way wasn't clear to me.
Okay, sure. Okay, actually, our idea is B2B, and we are focusing on B2B as we are just begin the idea. So we are focusing on the educational institutions, on the organizations, on the government entity, plus the private. Already I have done for both. And for collecting revenue, it's a bit hard.
What kind of customers do you have? Who are they?
Okay, shall I names?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I already have before dealt with the CyberGate. It's a local company in Abu Dhabi regarding the cybersecurity, but they are doing technical stuff. So we worked with them as a freelancers to provide awareness sessions for their clients. We already have worked with the Dubai Sports Council. We provided 7 workshops for different departments. And we already worked with around 3 to 4 public schools in UAE, in Al Ain, in Dubai, in Sharjah, and different places. Al Fath School, Ahmed bin Rashid School, and I'm not sure about the rest. And we have, as a first session I have done, it was for volunteering group. It was open session for Fakhr al-Watan group. It was for different target groups. It was like a general one for parents, children, adults, and others, yeah. For collecting revenue, actually, we are focusing on the private sector a bit, because the government, as we are dealing with the educational sector, the government sector takes time for saving budget and to take approval and a long process. We are targeting them, but to get profit and start working and implementing our ideas, we are gaining profit from other entities, which is private entities, which we have done, or as a freelancers. So yeah, did I answer the questions?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay.
Shem, a quick question. Thank you for the presentation. Is the content in English, or have you Arabized it as well?
Actually, we are focusing to do it in Arabic, first of all, as it's focusing on the UAE market, but we have in English also. It depends on the customer requirement. Some of them
so you can tailor it.
Yeah, like for the sessions which I have done for Dubai Sports Council, we already talked that they need some sessions regarding policies and compliance and other awareness sessions. I have done for them for different departments, but some of them was local employees only. So they asked me to do it in Arabic, and some of them was mixed. So I have to do it in English. So it's depends.
And so far, all the sessions you've done have been paid. You haven't done it free of charge.
No, I have started with a free of charge with the volunteering group. It was a free. It was my first session in 2020, and then I do it for the government schools. As I said, they don't have enough budget, but I have done for them some like 3 to 4. Then when I work with the organizations here, I get paid.
Okay. Can you give us a sense for the pricing?
Actually, we were looking for more, but as we provide it as a package, if we do it like around 7 sessions we have done, we have been paid around 4,000 dirham. Yeah, so it's at the sessions we are providing, it's like a package. We provide a session, survey, quiz, and different things and tools to make a package and provide it for the client. So here we can get paid anyway. Yeah.
And last question, is that the only offering? So once they've gone through that course, that's it? You have no other courses to offer, or do you have several different courses?
No, we have different courses is already under developing, while the sessions which we are providing, it depends on the requirement they ask for. We prepare a proposal for them, then we send, then we negotiate, we discuss about it, then we start providing the service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We're already now outsourcing the games now with the programmer to look how it will be and how it will gonna work for children. The game will have different levels, which explains about different cyber attacks for children. Like first level gonna be how to generate a strong password. There'll be some tips at the end of the game. There will be a question if you write your strong password, which means it will have evaluation system, which could be integrated also in the educational institution system as an LMS. So it's merging between fun and learning at the same time. For children, we are focusing on the primary stage, actually.
Good morning, everyone. I'm a recent graduate in artificial intelligence, and my final year project was a nightmare. My average Windows PC did not have the expensive hardware for processing the huge amount of data required from my machine learning model. Hence, I had to use an expensive cloud computing service, which was extremely tedious to configure. My classmates faced the same issues as well. Research suggests that at any point in time, nearly 2 billion computing devices are powered on globally, out of which 30% or 600 million are idle or sleeping, and this power can definitely be put to constructive use. Considering all these problems, we came up with our startup, DC Node, which is a marketplace platform resembling Airbnb for servers, helping renters monetize their spare computation power by hosting rentees seeking affordable and accessible processing. We provide AI practitioners with time and cost-efficient computational power by utilizing the combined power of idle computers via a decentralized peer-to-peer network. The ever-growing AI market is predicted to reach $15.7 trillion by 2030. UAE aims to be the world leader in artificial intelligence by 2031. More than 3 million people use cloud computing platforms, out of which 500,000 are AI practitioners. We aim to capture at least 25% of this market size, which is approximately 125,000 users. We adopt a 3-tiered commission-based business model with basic, pro, and enterprise memberships catering a wide range of users. Our roadmap covers 8 phases. The first phase of developing the MVP is already completed. We are currently working on building our website and integrating the payment gateway with the MVP. The next few phases include beta testing the MVP, rolling out to commercial markets in and outside the UAE.
Okay, our expected revenue by the end of phase 8 is 5.56 million dirhams. We aim to capture the market of our indirect, slide 9, we aim to capture the market of our indirect competitors on the cloud computing platforms such as AWS, Azure, as well as direct competitors like igon.com. Slide 10. We are confident in our product due to its niche target, which is AI and ML practitioners. We also provide a robust plugin system to make ML environment setups hassle-free. Our competitors use crypto-based wallets for transactions. However, we plan to implement a currency-based system to ensure non-volatility and simplicity. Our solution is academically backed and open source. Slide 11. Let's say next slide. We have formulated a well-defined market strategy to reach out to a wide user base. To achieve our goal of reaching 125,000 users and 5.5 million dirhams of revenue by 2023, we need an initial investment of 300,000 dirhams. Next slide. And this is our meet our dynamic team. And I think that's it.
I'd love to jump in if I may. Thank you for that. The presentation was great, but very fast. So just as we were kind of like absorbing the amazing information, you kind of jumped.
So sorry.
I have questions, if I may. So certainly the need gap is very real. You're tapping into a gig economy. So I love that. I like how you have honed in on a very clear target, which is the AI practitioners who have a particular budget, who have a particular need, as opposed to going out to everybody and everything. So that makes it also very compelling and very smart. So super focused on your target, super focused on your gig economy execution and the need gap. What I didn't understand as much is, again, if you go back to some of your slides about how you're actually going to capture them and differentiate yourself versus competition. I know we've spoken about this. AWS, I see how you're going to differentiate versus AWS because you're a different offering. But the smaller players, which are these ones, exactly. How are you different from these guys on the left? And how do you continue to build that differentiation?
So, okay, I can answer that question. So the guys on the left, okay, the first thing that it's different, what we're different from them is they're all crypto-based, but if we're living in the region like Middle East, we can't really use cryptocurrency for buying daily groceries, food. And so if even someone earns a few crypto coins, what will they do with it? The second thing is they do target ML, but they target like the whole computing space. It's not focused at all. If I'm an AI developer who has to use their platform, it'll be no use. I have to set up so many things. And by the time it's like a profit or I can take advantage of it, it'll be a lot of wasted time. So I think these markets are very generalized. I think that is a problem.
And we also provide a specialized plugin system for all the ML developers to make their environment setup easy and fast. So that's another advantage that we provide compared to other people.
So I just want to reiterate Muna's comment on the importance of this, but one of the challenges we have here is the jurisdiction of data storage. I was wondering if you can maybe talk a little bit about that.
You mean storing data?
So
like
yeah,
on
the
our
jurisdiction of storing data in country. So the sovereignty of data. So the challenges with a lot of software vendors or startups as yourselves. A lot of the times we face a challenge with in-country jurisdiction laws on hosting data. So if you can just tell us a little bit about your plan on the architecture side.
So from the architecture side, we could host data here, or we could also spin up a server in another country and store it there if its jurisdictions are stricter. But we don't store much data apart from the user's node information, and that's it. That's all we want to store about, and the rest is up to the user what they want to do in that machine. So the only data we ever store is the user, the node, are they active, and that's it, and maybe the GPU information.
Because fundamentally, we are a decentralized network, so we do not really require storing all of that data. All we require is storing the user information.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Your Excellencies, and the distinguished guests for allowing us today to present. Before starting my PhD journey in 2016, I started noticing that getting a job is becoming harder. And also noticed that most of what I studied in the university does not necessarily reflect what I need at work. I have confirmed this by sharing a questionnaire with over 1,000 employees and students within the GCC region. In addition, leading studies by global consultancies and researchers shows the need to analyze skills and competencies to link the job market with the educational system to analyze the future of jobs. HCMS.ai analyzes the supply and demand of skills to provide talent, intelligent management, and upskilling tools to help reducing unemployment. Those tools are powered by AI, natural language processing, and machine learning that can be integrated through APIs. When it comes to the challenges, absence of skills and competencies within the occupational standardization, 95% of organizations admit making a bad hire regularly because of wrong skills analysis. There's a lack of real-time visibility into the labor market's insights. There's an absence of analytical tool to measure the educational return on investments. And there's limits on quantitative analysis and the future of jobs and education. As for the global total market for human capital management system is $148 billion and growing drastically. In the UAE, the human capital development spending is huge, about 42 billion dirhams last year. However, there is no data related to skills. The fourth principle of the UAE next 50 years principles and the 7 objectives of the Abu Dhabi Economic Vision 2030 is at the center of our DNA. We have successfully created a full standardization framework after analyzing over 8 international and local standardization of occupations and over 60,000 jobs across 20 sectors. The AI and data science powered solution allow us to perform detailed skill gap analysis, enabling us to perform talent intelligence at its best for the 4 domains, including government, private sector, HR authority, educations, and talent and students. Our ultimate vision is to link the labor market with the educational institutions to form synergy through the utilization of AI and data to foster the return on investment in talents across the UAE and the globe. These are a couple of our clients in the pipeline, and we have an ongoing API integration negotiation with SAP and Oracle. We have received several international and national awards, including His Highness Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Award for the best research in HR. And as for our team, we have access to a pool of seasoned AI and data analytics talents across the world, including Dr. George Westerman from MIT and the others. Myself, I have received my PhD from the Legacy MIT and Masdar Institute Cooperative Program, and my thesis sat the cornerstone of HCMS.ai. Each of our key members or team members have over 10 years of experience in the field of tech and digital transformation. We have recently signed a term sheet with Next 50, acquiring 25% of HCMS and valuing our company at 10 million dirhams. This gives us access to Next 50 talents and experts in AI and will help us to grow in the coming year. Thank you.
Dr. Assalamu alaikum. Awalan, thank you for the presentation. Maybe because it's a lot of content and you went through it quickly, just if you can explain to me what is the revenue model?
Our revenue model is, we have 2 revenue models. One of them is the per person. So anyone who registers within our platform will pay a fee per month. And the other model is per HR manager. And we have this model currently in progress with companies similar to Mubadala and the Human Resource Authority, which we are working with them on.
And tell me more about your team. I know you've had some expertise in AI as advisory, but your core team, you mentioned some of them were in companies. Can you go back? Yeah. Al Musafir and others, have they started companies before? Are they employees in these companies? Were they founders or not in previous ventures?
For the sake of time, Your Excellency, I'll answer. I believe Iftikhar, Hassan, and Dr. Ahmed are here with us today. Al Musafir, they created the back end. And they worked on a back end based on a contractual based, before, I think, around 7 years ago. And this was one of the achievements of the team. So they worked both on the back end of almusafir.com. Other than that, we have Dr. Ahmed Al-Hanai, who's very well experienced in the field of data analytics and the space of trading using data analytics, etc.
Sorry if I missed it in the earlier part of your presentation, but can you expand a little bit more around the product offering? So if you go back to your client list now, and just walk us through an example of, Mubadala, for example, or Masdar. What's the product offering to them, and what's the difference?
Sure, I'll take Mubadala and HRA because they are in the MOU and contractual discussions currently. In the Mubadala case, they have the Takafu program that they have initiated, which helps them to do recruitment, mobility, and succession planning using data analytics related to skills and competencies. We are implementing our data analytics tools related to skills and competencies to power the Takafu platform that they already have. At the same time, we have signed also an MOU with the HRA, Human Resource Authority of Abu Dhabi, and Federal Authority of Human Resource, FAHR. Initial discussions were to basically empower the tools they have, and for the students, employees who want to basically have better jobs or want to understand what are the skills needed by specific job. So what we do, we analyze the job postings, we analyze also the CVs to basically do the matching and the mismatch between both, which will help them to understand the nature of the job based on skills.
Do you have success metrics to date? And maybe you can share with us some examples of case studies that have actually worked.
But based on case studies working currently is our Mubadala and HRA, I must say, because we are we have the final meeting inshallah with Mubadala is going to be in 7 days, and at the same time, based on what we have already shown to Next 50, which is an ADQ and G42 joint venture, and we have tested the system on their platform or on their employees, and that's where we got the acquisition of 25%. So I don't know if this answers your question.
So just from my understanding, so it's the enabler of the acquisition of talent, the tools and services for retention of talent and management of talent within, and all of the processes, making them streamlined and transparent. This is what I'm understanding you are able to capture holistically.
Exactly.
And you're unique that you're able to do it through AI algorithms that set you apart and make it smart.
Exactly. Yes, indeed.
That's clear. Thank you.
Dr. Abdullah, thank you for the presentation. A quick question. So you said that you're getting the skills from the CVs. So it's clear to me that you have the job descriptions. It's easy to get the required skills from there. And then you have the CVs where the applicant or the candidate self-declares their strengths, right? Problem solving or analytical skills or whatever it is. You take it based on what they declare, or do you actually do a test on the candidate?
So what we do is we do it on two things. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, by the way, on the question. Amazing question. So we do first, based on their CV and what are the courses they took, especially the ones in the UAE. So we analyze also the syllabi. We have a syllabi parser and the CV parser. So we try to match based on the syllabi that they took and the skills related to which are included in the syllabi. The skills included in the syllabi, we basically analyze them and match them with what they wrote in their CV. And by then, we're providing, inshallah, and hopefully this is one of our development plans to provide the questionnaires. We also have an ongoing discussions with some IQ service providers, IQ exams and so on, who can basically assess those. At the same time, the questionnaire will be added, inshallah, in the future. However, right now, we assess based on the syllabi and what's written in the CV. So CV parser and syllabi parser.
The production of cardboard emits around 3 kg of carbon dioxide for every 1 kg produced. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas that deteriorates the health of this planet and the people living on it. Most of the cardboard is utilized in creating packaging for products to be delivered in. Packaging is an extremely overlooked marketing tool that helps a company differentiate from its competitors, delivers messages, and helps build unique customer experiences alongside likable brand narratives. Cardboard packaging is not only a burden on this planet, but is also an expense to companies that rarely has any benefits. Until now, of course. To help brands create a more caring brand image and limit the negative environmental impacts of cardboard packaging, we introduce Pack and Sustain, an innovative, sustainable, and feasible solution. At Pack and Sustain, we create packaging made up of mushrooms and recycled materials that would be manufactured through a bio-based process and replace the use of conventional packaging. You would ask me, how is this any better? Mushrooms only emit 300 grams of carbon dioxide for every kilogram produced, which is 10 times lesser than cardboard. Furthermore, it would help brands project themselves in an eco-friendly way. When comparing mushroom packaging to cardboard packaging, mushroom packaging has lower CO2 levels, it is for water and flame resistant, 100% compostable and recyclable, and can be customized and molded as per the requirement of the client. After carrying out various market researches, we have concluded that it is best if we operate in UAE due to the ease of doing business and the pre-established appreciation of sustainability here. However, to keep the operating costs low, the production unit will be in India. Due to its international reach, we will keep our sales and marketing office in Dubai and work from home to cut down costs. The sustainable packaging industry is expected to grow by 10.3% annually, according to Globe Newswire, reaching 470.3 billion by 2027, suggesting a growing competitive landscape. We plan to price our package between AED 1.5 to 5, depending upon the size and shape. Our target audience are vegan cosmetics and skincare brands in UAE. After establishment, we will also focus on small businesses and logistic companies. Working towards scalability, we will phase out our company's operations. In the first phase, we intend to outsource the production process and warehouses. In the second phase, we bring warehouses in-house. And in the third phase, we'll bring the production unit in-house. Before I finish, I would like to introduce you to my team. I'm Khushi Gupta, the founder and CEO, along with Vishesh Shah, co-founder, Sunny Latif, co-founder and COO, Prashant Bhojwani, co-founder and CFO, and Rishika Raheja, co-founder and CMO. Thank you for your time. Any questions?
I'm happy to start. Thank you for the presentation. Could you tell me where you source your mushrooms from?
We source it from UP, Uttar Pradesh, in India.
Okay, and you have a sustainable supply there? Have you signed any agreements, or have you identified potential partners there?
We haven't.
Okay, okay. Have you built a sample of the product to test it at all?
No, we
or
haven't.
Is this right now, it's in theory?
It's still in theory.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you.
If I can jump in, thank you for that. Mushroom packaging is certainly one that has received a lot of attention in the past few years. I know Bayer has gone into mushroom packaging. It's something that companies like IKEA globally have looked at as well. So just talk to us a little bit about how you are kind of creating that niche locally. What gives you that production capability that allows you to scale it? And in the face of kind of the bigger players that have huge supply chain capabilities, how will you be able to tread forward? As a concept, it's brilliant. I love it. I do believe that the sustainable packaging, and particularly mushroom packaging, is going to pave the way in the next very early future. My question to you is, how do you carve your piece there in the face of a very complex and competitive supply chain that already exists?
Ma'am, may I answer that if you don't mind? Yeah, so seeing that in the market, there are different companies that are, adapting and using mushroom packaging. But when it comes to providing mushroom packaging to vegan cosmetics and skincare brands, we are the only ones in the market, because as of now, there are not many competitors for us in the market. So based on that, since IKEA is doing different type of mushroom packaging for their furniture items and stuff like that. So when it comes to us, it's a completely different, ball game, because we are using it only for vegan cosmetics and skincare products. We are not going into any other types of products and stuff.
It becomes also a marketing game and awareness, where you could be the first to market to actually talk about it and acquire your particular niche customers through that. So there are ways that you can create your niche through acquisition, through marketing, through positioning, and do it before everyone else. So at the end of the day, all great ideas are done by many people. It's about how do you execute it faster, better, and first.
I think if I can just jump in here, maybe you presented and I missed it, but I think from me, I would have liked to see the full cycle, because you're talking about carbon neutrality, you talked about the cost of producing the traditional solution and how this is 10 times more efficient. You're sourcing it from India, and then the carbon footprint there Is the process, for example, sustainable, using solar power or other means? I would have liked for this to have a value proposition that the full cycle is actually lower, has a lower carbon footprint as opposed to just the concept itself, especially if you're going to base your operation someplace and then ship it somewhere else. So how would you answer the question about the full cycle of your carbon footprint? Why is your solution more environmentally friendly?
So now when we go into the entire process of, the operating and stuff, when it comes to the entire operating process, there's only the mining process and the hard tooling process that actually requires the usage of machines along with the drying process. Other than that, all other processes are natural, because once we are done with the designing and mining, then we go into the hard tooling, which the initial steps are the ones which require, usage of machines. So that's initially the place where, we'll be having to use machines, and, that those are the only places we'll be having the problem of carbon footprints. But when we go into the deeper process, it's all about filling the growth trace which we are coming up with, which we are producing with the natural products and, waste materials from mushrooms. And since it's a natural process, generally our carbon footprint will go down since we're using natural processes. And also, when it comes to the drying part, it's not necessary that we may, use a machine dryer. We can also use natural ways of drying, such as sun, because it's pretty common in today's world. A lot of companies using sun drying processes, natural drying processes.
2022 is all about putting our youth at the forefront of building back better and advancing human development. But are young people actively addressing their well-being needs and developing the mental resilience needed to achieve this? College students often don't know enough about mental health and self-care tools, causing devastating impacts on their well-being. To make it worse, universities lack enough resources per capita and fail to provide support networks to their students. Imagine the struggles resulting from barely having one counselor per 2,000 students, which leads to waiting times of up to 2 months before you can speak to someone. Enter PeerMinded, an online learning platform that takes a proactive, non-medical approach to building student self-capacity. Through context-specific training, we instill the knowledge, skills, and language that students need to drive their own well-being and support others around them, reducing the burden on scarce institutional resources. Our unique group-based and interactive training solution is highly tailored to the well-being needs of students who are situated in particular country, cultural, and social contexts. Unlike existing well-being training programs, we actively employ various gamification techniques to make learning engaging for our students. And finally, we're adopting a truly novel approach by embedding ourselves in a university's mental health ecosystem to complement existing services by providing them with regular monitoring and actionable insights about their students' mental health. We're a B2B startup targeting universities who can buy our training and offer it cost-free to their students. They can purchase single weekly modules or a structured training course of 5 weekly modules, which also comes with data insights. Either way, all students have free access to our platform with basic features that will continue to develop as we grow. In our first year of operations, we expect to spend around $40,000 on technical development, curriculum design, and marketing, and earn revenues of $52K. By the time we enter our third year of operations, we anticipate yearly profits of over $95K. We're currently onboarding a few universities for our pilot testing. In Q2, we'll have completed a full training curriculum with the platform set to launch in the UAE in Q3. We expect to have partnered with 6 universities by the end of this year. Based on need, as well as our own team's regional routes, we'll be expanding outward from the UAE to the GCC and eventually to MENA and South Asia in the next 5 years. Our fluid online operations and flexible learning model is easily adaptable to different target markets. We'll go from university students to high school to eventually middle school students. In the long term, we will diversify our offerings beyond the training program to holistically support universities with mental health. I have 5 years of experience in public health, curriculum design, and program delivery. Our COO, Sarah, brings extensive knowledge of marketing and business development, and our CTO, Anas, is highly skilled in technical development and data science. Together with our seasonal interns and advisors with decades of experience in student mental health, we're exceptionally suited to run this enterprise. We're building a world where every student is empowered to prioritize their mental health and support others around them. Join us. Thank you.
Hafsa, quick question. Have any of the students, maybe, I think you're at NYU at the moment, right?
We're all graduates, but yes, we were at NYU AD.
So have you tested the modules on students and gotten feedback from them?
So we're just entering our pilot testing now. We've got agreements from a couple of universities to run this. So it'll be happening in this month and the coming month, yes.
Okay.
We do have initial feedback within the team, which of course has student interns, yeah.
Okay. And you said that you were expecting a revenue of 52K this year?
Yes, we can quickly go to that slide as well, if possible.
Thank you, Hafsa, for that. Such a very, very well articulated presentation. I enjoy listening to you, so thank you for that. You deliver beautifully. My question to you is around the content of the material and the offering to the students. Maybe you can expand a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. I think Sarah will navigate us to the right slide, but in essence, our platform is built around a core training program. And so these consist of weekly modules on topics that are relevant to students, things such as, of course, the depression, anxiety, but also imposter syndrome, and things which are specifically suited to, or mental health topics that are specifically relevant to students. So aside from this training program, which also consists of a game, which is again meant to engage students, we also make sure that the platform itself to engage students has other options as well. So common discussion forums and spaces in which students can interact and speak with each other and form community, as well as common features like mental health tracker and so on. So that's what the students are getting. And then on the other end, the curriculum, it has a very strong monitoring and evaluation component. So there's pre and post testing, and periodically we check in with students to see how they're doing, and those insights are then reported back to universities to give them sort of fine-grained, timely insights about how their students are doing at specific time points in the year. So those are the two ends of the platform, so to speak.
Is your curriculum being developed by counselors and consultants? Because the curriculum is the core of your proposition.
Right. The curriculum is designed on specific, on different levels. Initially, it's designed by our team itself. So we have myself, who's overlooking curriculum development, as well as other interns. Some of them come from a psychology background, other from a social research background, and so on. Once we've designed the initial draft, we then have it sort of corroborated by our advisors, and they're practicing mental health professionals who have a psychiatric and psychological background. In the long run, we hope to get this accredited and to find a mechanism within the UAE to have it sort of verified by a relevant entity. Yes.
A quick follow-up question, Hafsa. So just so that I understand, are these courses sort of self-guided, so any student can go online and take these courses, or does the counselor suggest certain courses to the student?
They are self-guided in the sense that if the university is partnered with us, their students will get access to take these courses in a chronological order. Okay. If the university buys a full training program, as we mentioned, you can also buy like a single module. But of course, once we diversify and go beyond our core training program, then there will be different offerings, and we'll probably employ some machine learning tool to recommend courses to students based on what their needs are. That's when we've of course gathered enough data on the platform itself for each student.
Thank you.
The moment everyone has been waiting for is finally here. But before we announce the names, 3 winners were supposed to be chosen for this competition. However, due to the fact that we had high caliber candidates, our judges have chosen 4 winners instead of 3. The winners of the first edition of SkillUp Compete, in no particular order, are Celtiro, 5mm, Destinode, Human Capital Management System, on behalf of the Entrepreneurial Nation, UAE's Ministry of Economy and MIT Enterprise Forum Pan-Arab, we want to say Mabruk to all our winners, and we would encourage all teams to continue developing their projects. Make sure to visit the participants' booths to network with them.